we not even look at the one-loss record that could be affected by trying to get to know each other, just have a more long-term view, look or view?
Personally, I think the record is accurate with where we are, or where we at this point in the season. It's not an indicator for going forward and possibly giving up on Hito. It's just an opportunity to get better, balance the roster out, if you will. And when you look at the types of players and people that we're bringing here, it's hard to argue that we don't have a better chance to compete with some of the bigger, longer teams in the NBA. That we are going to be, or Alvin won't have more options on the perimeter to play defense, or have guys that can create their own basket, or that we're not tougher. So I think it's short-sighted if you only measure this by how many wins and losses that you've had thus far. The objective is to get better. We feel like we've done that, and now it's about trying to gel and guys have chemistry and play to the max that we can play as a ball club.
Are you guys still actively looking to add some more size?
Well, we're always looking to get better, but I'd say the first indication that maybe this was a good move was that our phone hasn't stopped ringing. People trying to get Gortat from us, so he hasn't even arrived yet, and teams are calling, so that's always a good sign. We're going to try every day to get better. I mean, that sounds like a cliche, but we come in here every day, and that's all we do is try to figure out how to get better. We'll let this settle in for a little while, and then we'll evaluate it like we will every day.
That is a cliche.
Are they planning on being in uniform tomorrow?
They probably won't play until Thursday. They have to come in and take their physicals, and our folks have to get to Orlando and have their physicals. So we play tomorrow and Monday, and they'll play on Thursday. My guess is it'll be uniform Thursday.
Have you talked to Vince?
Yes, I have. We talked to Vince, and he was wildly enthusiastic, I would say. He knows Grant Hill well, and it's their neighbors in Orlando in the past, and obviously he's excited about playing with Steve, so we're very, very excited to welcome him and each of these guys. He was very enthusiastic.
Give an update on Mikhail's knee. I know he's missed some games recently. Is that any kind of long-term issue?
We don't believe so. They'll come in and take a physical, and we've already begun to do our due diligence on that, and every trade is, conditioned on us passing a physical, so we don't anticipate a problem, but there'll be a process to resolve that.
Alvin's talked the last week and a half about rotation and having too many guys for not enough spots. Do you feel this move, adding 3 for 2 rotation guys, you added 3 for 2, is a better spread so you could go 10 deep easier?
Well, I would say that's the toughest job in the organization to be out. I think it could be just as challenging with finding minutes for guys in the right mix. Our job is to try to bring in talent and bring in the best chemistry. And there's, in my estimation, Alvin's as good as anyone in managing people. I think this job will require probably even more of that with the guys that we're bringing in. There's no secret that we have 8 to 10, maybe even 11 guys that are deserving of minutes. As far as how that all plays out, the coaches, I'm sure, will do a good job in managing that process.
And I would just add to that by saying that Alvin, along with Robert Sarver, obviously are full participants in this process. Alvin, we wouldn't do anything that Alvin didn't embrace, and I think he is completely endorses this, understands the thinking behind it, was as I say, a full participant in it. So he will figure out how to make it work.
How is this on the other side of the table?
It's in some sense it's just one more negotiation, but it's the consequences of it are great. And when I tell you, I used to hate when I was an agent to get word that one of my guys was traded. I think everybody forgets the human aspects of it. If any one of us, Lance, me, or any of you in this room, found out that you were moving to Orlando tomorrow, you would be a little discombobulated. And so I think we try to be sensitive to the human elements of this and the disruption that it causes, and be sensitive to that. But it is part of this business, and I think everybody understands that and embraces it and moves forward. But it's an emotional thing to make a move like this and give up players that we've appreciated here and appreciated their efforts. But on the other hand, you have to welcome the new opportunities.
If the staple of this past team was wide open, up and down, run and gun, how would you define this current team now based on the exceptions we have?
And that, from the way I see it is, I don't see that going away. You know, we don't, coin a cliche, you know, we don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. That's a staple of this organization. And having a team that has an up-tempo style, wide open style that scores points, and it's been wildly successful. Having, the way I would phrase it, the roster, the way it looks, adding these three guys is balanced. Now we can play differently on both ends of the floor. We're dynamic, and that if Alvin wants to play big, we can play big. With Marcin and Lopez, we've got, I mean, Vince has been as good a scorer as anyone in the NBA in his time. I think there's more left than some others may. We've got a tough guy who can be a very good perimeter defender in Pietrus. So my phrase would be balanced and dynamic with the guys that we've added. We've added to our ability to run, not taken away.
I think this move once again kind of stirs up the discussion of whether Steve Nash can potentially get traded. Is that something that you guys would ever keep on the table, or can you say right now that that's not going to happen this year?
It's an impossible question to answer, because no matter what I say, it's going to be interpreted in a fashion that is going to be misunderstood. So I'm going to answer that by saying Steve Nash is the sun and the moon and the stars of this franchise, and we appreciate that and we understand that. And if that doesn't convey the message, then I failed to convey the message of his importance to this franchise.
Steve talks a lot about chemistry, cohesion, continuity. This is the third big in-season trade in the last 4 years. This summer, a lot of turnover. Have you talked to him? How does he react to this?
Sure. I mean, we're pretty careful to stay in very, very close contact with Steve and with Grant Hill and with the other veterans and really everybody on our team. We never cede authority to them in terms of asking for their approval, but we also want their input and their understanding of kind of what the pulse of the team is. And, we've discussed this with them, both Steve and Grant, and again, they embrace it, and I think they're excited about it. And, it's hard for them because they're seeing their friends leave town, but on the other hand, I think they are understanding of how this is going to make us a better team, and we've discussed it with them. And you'll have to speak to them directly, but what they've communicated to us is that they are very much in support of this.
What is Nash's availability for tomorrow?
I don't know the answer to that yet.
Hey Lance, what's your status evaluation been on Vince Carter this year? What kind of promise do you see in it?
I think he's probably been a little up and down and trying to get in the flow, if you will. I know he's had some nicks and bruises physically, and the team in general, they probably hadn't reached or accomplished the expected level that they would have hoped. And because of that, I think that's part of what's created the opportunity for all. We're excited about him. I think he's probably undervalued from a perception standpoint. We believe